So children, in the last class we have discussed about some of the programs based on the single dimensional array. Single dimensional array, and over there we have discussed some of the programs like calculating the average marks of a student and providing the relevant remark to it, okay, or the appropriate remark to it. Like suppose if a student has scored above 85, it will be provided with excellent grade or excellent remark. Otherwise, for different or having many other conditions where you are having the remark as excellent, good, poor, or these kind of remarks, right? So now after this, we will be starting about the second or the double dimensional array, or it is also called as the array or the matrix. Now maybe most of you already know about the matrix, that if you are having a structure having a row and column with you, that comes under a matrix. Maybe you have seen this kind of picture already, where you are having a larger square bracket, and in those larger square brackets you are having these numbers like written like this, right? So this is called as the matrix. Okay, matrix is what? It is a combination of row and column. You can see that over here you are having 3 rows over here and 3 columns over here, right? So in the matrix form of the array, what is it? That the two-dimensional array is called as the matrix form. And why it is called the matrix form? It is only because the arrangement of the elements in the array is done on the basis of rows and columns. And according to rows and columns, the position of the array is fixed. But before that, the basic syntax for writing the double dimensional array or the matrix is that first you will be writing the data type followed by the array name, and then earlier I have told you in the earlier lectures that this number of square brackets will define the number or the dimension of the array, right? So you can count that you are having 2 set of square brackets over here, and hence this arrays or this declaration is for the double dimensional array or for a matrix. For an example, you can see this I have written int arr. So this arr is an array which is in the form of a matrix, and because you are having 2 pair of square brackets over here and 2 square brackets over here, and on the right hand side you will be having things like this. That means what? This first bracket will define you about the row, and the second bracket will define you about the column. Okay, so in the array, the one-dimensional array, it was a bit different, the declaration, where only a single square bracket was there, and over here only a single square bracket was there having some value. But in case of double dimensional or matrix form, you will be having 2 square brackets over here, 2 pair of square brackets over here, and same thing will be repeated on this side also. Now coming over to the position of the elements. See, the position of the elements is based on the combination of this. First it will be followed by the row of the thing, and then it will be followed by the column of the string, right? So in general, this is 0, this is 0th column, this is row 1, this is row 2, right? And over above here, this is column 1, this is column 2, so this is column 0, this is column 1, and this is column, right? So if you have to place an element on the 0th row and 0th column, right? So 0th row and 0 column means this will be the position for 0 row and 0 column. And why we have started it from 0? Because the indexing of array always starts with 0, so we have taken the value for row and column as 0 over here, and this will be the position 0 comma 0. Now if I'll ask you have to tell me the value placed at second row first column. So what you will do, you will just go to the row number 2 and column number 1. So row number 2 and column number 1, this is it, and this is the value. So what will be the value over here? 8 will be the value. Now suppose I am asking a question that find the value at the index 1 comma 2. So 1 comma 2 means row number 1 column number 2. So row number 1, this is the row number 1 over here, row number 1 and column number 2. So this is the column number 2. So this will be the value over here. Now suppose I am asking a question that you have to tell me the row and column, that is 2 comma 0, right? So the column is 2 over here, and column is 2 over here, and the column is 0 over here. Sorry, the row is 2 over here, and the column is 0 over here. So row 2 and column 0 will be having the value that is equal to 7. So now that you have understood how we can point out the position for any particular value, and it is in the form of rows and columns. This will be kept simple, that suppose you need to take or identify any value in an matrix or in a two-dimensional array. In that case, you have to remember the combination of row and column at which the value is there. Okay. Now after this, we will be discussing about a small program where I have written a program to use the multi-dimensional array. So this is the multi-dimensional array, and the multi-dimensional array is there. So that means that to traverse the values in the multi-dimensional array, what we need to do, that we have to use a combination of more than one loop so that the values can be traversed easily, right? So first we have declared the row. First we have declared our array, that int arr, and these two pair of square brackets, followed by, on the right hand side you can see that it is the rows are defined separately. This is the 0th row, this is the first row, and this is the second row. Okay, and you can imagine these values like this, 1 2 3, and the value is like this written over here, 1 2 3 2 4 5 and 4 4 5. So all these values are here. Now when we need to traverse the two values, like we have did in the nested loop in the last year, that in the nested loop, if we have to traverse or we have to print a pattern, in that case we were considering the rows and columns, right? So when we are considering the rows and columns, in that case what we have did, that we have used two loops. In the first loop, we have used the first loop for the row. Same is the case over here. The first loop will be used for the row and the second loop will be used for the column. Okay, so in case of number of rows, the number of rows are 3 over here in this question. It is 3 over here because 1, 2 and 3. Total number of rows are 3 and total number of column is again 3 because you are having 3 values over here. Okay, so the upper limit of this is I less than 3. Why this is I less than 3? Because the indexing starts from 0. So 0, 1 and 2. 3 values are there, but it is starting from 0 to it will go until 2. And if it is written I less than 3, that means it is not equal to 3. That means I equal to 2 is the maximum value that I can take. Or in the similar way, for j also the maximum value for j is equal to 2 over here, and because j is less than 3, and whenever these two conditions are right, like let's see how the condition or how the program runs. When the very first term I is equal to 0 and condition is checked for 0 less than 3, the condition will be true over here. When the condition will be true over here, you will enter this for loop and you will enter the body of the for loop over here, finding another for loop inside that. and in that for loop again j is equal to 0, 0 less than 3 condition is checked. This condition will be true, in this condition will be true. So now that the value of I is equal to 0 over here and the j is also 0, so the system dot out dot print, the value will be printed for ARR of 0 and 0. Okay, so on the 0th index over here, 0 index, the value will be stored. So what will be stored over here? 1 will be stored on 0 comma 0 index. This is 0 comma 0 index. Okay, next, when the value is printed, now the next thing is that again the inner loop will be running for having value of j is equal to 1 now. So 1 is less than 3 condition is again right. Now the value will be printed at 0 comma first index. Then in the similar way it will be printed for 0 comma 2 index. So once you have printed 0 comma 2 and now the value of j is equal to 3 and this condition will be wrong over here. So in that case the inner loop condition will be false. Now you will be coming back again. So when you will be moving out, you will be just changing the line by the statement that is written system.out.println, and this blank bracket will show you that you have to just change the line. So once you have changed the line, now the next thing is to go for the for loop again having the increased value of I. So when you will take the increased value of I, in that case what will happen? In that case again you are ready to take the values for the next row. Okay. For the 0th row, you have already taken the values. Now you will be going for the first row, and in the similar way, you will be going for the second row also. Okay, so this will be the output that you will see 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 5, and 4, 4, 5. So this will be the overall output that you will be getting from this program that we have done. So this is the program and this is the output. So see, in general, you will see that the problem for the matrix is not that difficult to understand. Just the thing is that you have to imagine the matrix in the form of a rows and columns. And once you have started imagining the thing, yes, that it is in the form of rows and columns, it will be quite easier for you to understand the concept of matrix. So that's it in this video. In the next video we will be discussing some more concept based on the matrix. Thank you.